Hi, my name is Christina and I am your librarian here at Christina's Bookshelf. And today I am bringing you Set Ablaze by K.C. Byrne, published by Dreamspinner Press. I loved this trope so freaking much. First off, we have Hayden and Miguel. These two have been best friends throughout their childhood. They don't end up together. I don't want you guys to be like, oh yes, it's that. No. When Hayden was old enough, he left their little town of Willow Ridge, California, and never looked back. Well, maybe he looked back a couple of times, but not to his family. When Miguel was old enough and ready, he too left Willow Ridge. But it wasn't like a whole cut the ties. Hayden left because when he came out to his family, his parents said, okay, we're gonna send you to conversion therapy. And Hayden was like, fuck that, no you're not. Goodbye. And he became a firefighter in Pasadena, California. Miguel left for a whole different reason. And this is something that we don't find out until later in the book. So for like the longest time, I found Miguel to be a little bit sketchy. Didn't really like him. Miguel calls Hayden like last minute, hey, please meet me here. I know you have the night off. You probably had plans. Hayden shows up and out of nowhere, it's like, can my little brother Jez stay at your house? Like be your roommate for a little while. He's moving from New York, where he's been for 8 years, and Hayden hasn't seen anything in those 8 years of Miguel's little brother, to California. He's got now a job here. He's relocating. He just needs a place to stay. And Miguel has like this little, like lockbox of an apartment, nothing big. He can't really share any space. And Hayden, when he left his family in that little conservative town of crap, he went and lived with his grandmother. And she had this beautiful home. And when she died, she willed upon him the home. So now he has the space. So he's like, he remembers this little gangly kid that used to have some hero worship on him and Miguel, and he's just not sure he wants to deal with that. Plus, they have this group of friends that, for the most part, are decent. But there's a couple that are like raging assholes. And Hayden talks himself into believing it's not that bad. Well, Jez moves in, and he's not the gangly kid he was back in the day. And this is what I love so much. It's like the whole growing up thing. Like when you're young and you have puberty and somebody older just sees you as this gangly kid, and then you grow up all sexy and fantastic. Not that I have like any professional experience with that. I'm just saying I love the idea. But he comes with some skeletons in the closet. Some things that have changed. There's a reason why he picked up his life immediately from New York and moved to LA. He's got some things that he's hiding. But there's chemistry between Hayden and Jez like immediately. And how do you work with that when you're roommates? When you're trying to live in close proximity with each other, but you're trying to stay as far apart from each other as you possibly can. And they have totally different personalities, different living styles. Hayden is very uptight, wants things clean like at all times. And Jez, leaves a book here, leaves something there, puts some dishes in the sink, he'll clean it later, doesn't understand. And it takes a few blowouts for them to really get on good ground. And I don't mean like a lover's fight or quarrel, but these are some, in my opinion, even though one of them is like quick to burn and quick to fade, but it's intense and it has to happen. One of these broke my heart. Watching one, Jez sit through the whole ordeal before finally he's the only one that speaks up. Watching Hayden sit there and do nothing. And the other people that sit there and are just like, what the hell? While other people are just like, hey, saying horrible slurs, saying whatever the they want to say. And then they're like, but no offense, Hayden. Like that makes the world of a difference. The main thing that I didn't like about the book, or maybe it's just the writing, and this is what's going to drop it down a star rating for me, is the redundancy of some things within here. When Jez comes back from New York to California, he has anxiety. He doesn't like to be in crowds. He doesn't like to be around strangers. And this is reiterated, I think, way too many times. And there's other situations that are like this, that are constantly reiterated and constantly brought back to us as if we've forgotten from the last chapter it was told from us. And that's just something that gets on my nerves. It's like, yeah, I know you've told me so many times. Other than that, I loved the characters. Like I said, when I first met Miguel, I thought, this guy is skeezy. I am not a friend of his. I think they're going to have to dump him as a friend, as a brother. It's going to suck all the way around. And then kind of learning his story, I got it. I loved watching Hayden grow up, and that's exactly what he did. I mean, he's a grown man, he's a firefighter, he's been through life, he has experiences, but he was still like living in Fantasyland for some things, and not like good Fantasyland. In denial, procrastination, brushing things under the rug, until he had to wake up. And that was painful to watch, awkward to listen to. Like, you kind of felt for him, but at the same time, you're like, thank God somebody has woken you up to this. And watching Jez kind of go from like this huge ball of anxiety and mistrust and not letting anybody in, building a new family, a new group of friends that will believe him and love him and everybody that cherishes him. So I love seeing the personalities, their traits clash, come together, the arguments, the things that needed to blow up and happen. And then yes, if you're wondering, there are some sexy times. There's some detailed sexy times, and then there's some implied sexy times, which I really like when you give me a combination of both, because I don't need to read it every time it happens if you're going to give me interesting plot. Yes! And this was interesting. I really liked it. So I am giving Set Ablaze by Casey Byrne 4 stars. Like I said, mainly the star downgrade is because there were so many things that were overly redundant. Other than that, I really enjoyed the storytelling. So what I am going to do for you, down below I am going to leave the Dream Spinner and Amazon link so you can click it and be on your way. If you've enjoyed this review, I'm going to ask that you help me with that YouTube algorithm and give me a like. Leave me a comment. I love to interact with all of you guys, and go ahead and hit that subscribe button. I'm recovering from surgery number 2 of this year, and I honestly don't know when new content will be out, but that is the magic of the subscribe button, is that you will get a notification when I have something new for you. If you're like me and think this chick's pretty awesome, down below I'm going to leave Stalker Links in plenty. Go, click, investigate, enjoy. If you have a book or an arc you'd like me to read, or some light editing proofreading you would like done, you may request via website. Set Ablaze by Casey Byrne, published by Dream Spinner Press, 4 stars. Bye. Hi, my name is Christina, and I am your librarian here at Christina's Bookshelf. And today I am bringing you Just Add Argyle by Casey Byrne, published by Dream Spinner Press. This book is already out, so if you enjoy my review, you can kind of skedaddle on over and get it. This book kind of reminds me of Pretty Woman, only no billionaires or hookers. So you're like, Christina, what's the whole thing here? Okay, well, first off, I love books that kind of focus on a mental disability, because